and welcome to the Penrith Business Parks. Today I'm on Gilwilly Industrial Estate, and at these units here, which sometimes we have a door in a building and it's like, what is behind that door and which business are we going to see? Some of them are big and bright and have the name brandished everywhere. This one doesn't. So today we're going to go and visit Croglin. Now, this is one of the businesses I was like, I don't know, what do they do? Who are they? And I didn't really know. So, but it's actually fascinating what goes on behind these doors. So we're going to go in and we're going to go and meet Joe Butler, who is the founder and creative director of Croglin. Find out a bit more about what they do. Now, it's going to get a bit noisy in here because there's lots of machines, but we're going to go upstairs and hopefully it won't be too noisy. Have a little look. There's a bit of a clue of what they do. We're going to go up these stairs and we'll go and meet Joe. Hopefully he's waiting up here for us. Here he is, he's in staff room. Hello.
Hiya, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good.
So everybody meet Joe. Joe, let me make sure I get your title right, Joe. Creative director, founder of Croglin. So I've just been standing outside and saying, it's like a building with a door and what goes on inside here. So can you tell me a little bit about what is Croglin for anybody that doesn't know? It's $1 million question.
It is a very difficult answer. Quite a lot is a simple answer. We, generally speaking, focus on making high-end packaging for drinks industry, so high-end spirits, mainly whiskey, but with some items that go into high-end jewels and watchmakers.
Okay, and that's mainly wood, is that right? Yeah.
Yes, we're predominantly wood-based. We do incorporate other materials, gold-plated metalwork, leathers, and cardboard, sort of to enhance the product.
Okay, and so how did the business start, Joe? How did you end up here today, doing what you're doing? Where did we come from?
So to start with, it was my dad with Croglin Toys out of Lazenby, and I learnt bits and pieces from him, and tried and dabbled with a few items which sold with varying success depending on where and when, and that slowly evolved into doing more custom work, and that evolved into doing a very high-end paintbrush for a very large firm in London.
Right.
We aim to be the best paintbrush in the world, so we
Amazing.
invested in a whole pile of technology, and then I discovered that technology could be applied to other things, and we started experimenting with new worlds and new areas, and that somehow ended up here. And here because we needed more space. We needed a production facility to be able to do things in bigger volume in a cleaner, more organised format.
Right. So that's why you chose to move on to the Penrith Business Parks. You needed the space to expand and grow the business, and
absolutely.
I guess there was the units here to be able to do that.
Yes. It's been to Lazenby and seen the workshop, and we'll appreciate that it's not the biggest place in the world, and we needed that. We needed to have more space to be able to deal with the volume. I mean, my dad were making things that were small components, and we were making 50, 100 of things, whereas now we're making thousands of things, which just requires bigger machines and more space.
Yeah, I can imagine. And is your dad still involved with the business? Does he still make toys, or is he more involved with this kind of
He's semi-retired,
work?
so yes, he makes items when he feels like it, which is, seems to suit him pretty good.
And does he still have an overview of what you're doing, keep you in check, or does he leave you to
he pops in,
see what's going on?
He's a little bemused by the level and the quality we aim for, and the scale it's got.
That's fantastic. So what kind of, because you mentioned there about a paintbrush for a manufacturer in London, what kind of clients, are they sort of all over the country, all over the world, or do you have local clients as well? What kind of people do you work with?
So the products get sent all over the world, but most of the companies we work with are UK based.
Okay.
So we get commissioned or contracted to do a particular design. So a lot of the time we end up problem solving. People design something that is inherently very complicated to make.
Right.
Then they find it hard to find people that will produce such items, and then they find us.
So well, I'm guessing a lot of your stuff then is very bespoke
Yes.
to what you create.
Yes. There's a lot of learning curves, a lot of variety, complexities, and the problem solving that we end up doing is really interesting.
Wow, I can imagine. Is there? Do you want to show us around, or is there anything that you can show us today, like to give everybody an idea of what you do?
I can show you a paintbrush and a box.
So,
Brush and box we're working on.
What's new? Let's have a look.
Package now. That's
Oh,
a
wow.
paintbrush. So a paint and decorating brush. Filaments mixed with 9 or 11 different types of bristles. Some for flex, some for softness, some for giving the brush the shape, some for picking up paint, some for putting it down. I got a bit confused with quite what they were doing there, but.
So this is the best paintbrush in the world, is it?
So they claim. So they claim.
Wow.
I haven't tried all the paintbrushes in the world, so I can't comment. But the handle itself, which is the bit we were involved with, is a very complex bit of wood machining, because we need to get the repeatability, and the tolerances need to be very, very fine. So this is flush at this point here,
Right.
with the metal. We spent a long time getting the wood and developing the wood, only to discover that the metal changed quite a lot of shape and size.
Oh, right.
That made it a bit more complicated. Just trying to match something that was unmatchable because
Yeah.
it varied.
So yeah, definitely, like you say, lots of problem solving involved
Yes.
in what you do.
So this is now robotically sanded. We couldn't get the repeatability by hand, so we now have a robot that sands the profile
Wow.
automatically. We also had problems with the timber as we were staining it, but it wasn't going evenly. So we've now developed a process of vacuum staining the timber, so that the grey colour is actually right the way through the timber, which allowed us to stain it before we machined the block of wood. And by machining it afterwards, we then get the exact shape. Whereas we were machining it and then staining it, but because we released tensions in the timber and then we were adding the moisture, the shape of the brush was changing.
Wow, you wouldn't think it was so complex. But I suppose you're working with a lot of natural material there, aren't you? That does change shape, and it's taking all that kind of thing into consideration.
Oh, absolutely, but and there is a whole host of things you have to accommodate to with using timber in the design and the production. But as I say, the bit that I hadn't anticipated was the metal changing. I just assumed that was a fixed, and it's not. It varies quite a lot. Extruded aluminium that was then cross-cut, and that meant that it varied in shape and profile, but also in the thickness, and even flat. Trying to actually get the join line to be seamless here was a real challenge due to the fact that this is actually slightly cupped.
Wow.
Then we have this project, which is...
So this is quite an exciting one for you at
Yes.
Croglin, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us a bit about this.
One of a challenge. This is actually for the Balmoral Estate for a particular release of whisky for the King's birthday. And this is made from larch from the estate with the King's tweed in the bottom here. And then this paper is from a company called GF Smith, and that was created in cooperation with a company for the Earthshot prize. That was,
Wow.
So that was one of last year's winners, I think.
Yeah.
Made with seaweed and is very sort of natural. And it's
Fantastic. So you were approached by Balmoral Estate to commission to make these
There was a
boxes.
design agency that had the concept of it
Yeah.
that approached us, but then yes, we've
Been working with them, and
Yeah.
so this is an amazing project to think
Yeah.
that it's been manufactured in Penrith.
Yeah, 263. And so these are waiting their doors. So they're sort of part processing, part production. The doors have been screen printed to give the sharpness of the text. And we'll get a certificate on the inside. Which I don't have one. To hand at least.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. So going from paintbrushes and these types of the whiskey cases and jewellery,
Yep.
showcasing and all, there's all sorts. So if it's wood,
Yes.
it's people can come here, and if you've got an idea or something like that, then
Yep. Well, we're sort of interested in ideas, but we're also interested in combining. Some of the projects we've done, as I say, we've got digitally printed leather and sort of bespoke metalwork, which has been gold plated. So it's a variety. Sadly, I can't show this.
That's fine.
There is one over here that we've been doing recently. These are key rings for the Cunard. So these are made from reclaimed decking from one of the cruise ships that was refitted. I don't know, probably about 5 years ago now. So
fantastic.
That was the deck. I think they claimed it done 1.2 million nautical miles before we turned it in. Before we replaced it. Quite some distance. Yes, and now we're making them into key rings for keepsakes for people.
Amazing. So, gosh, it's such a varied type of project that you work on. I bet that's really interesting day to day of all the different problems you're going to solve.
Yes,
yeah,
it certainly is interesting. Yes,
I can see.
Learning.
I can see why you do it, because you can see like the love and the craftsmanship that goes into the things that you produce. So that's fantastic.
We have some very skilled people working for us, and we've got an interesting variety of technologies, from flatbed CNC to fourth axis CNC machines to lasers. Again, with the fourth axis. We have spray facilities, we have quite a variety, and we can go from a handcrafted box right the way through to a very heavily manufactured one to give a different price point.
Fantastic. So if somebody is sat in their office and thinking, wow, this is brilliant, we need some products, or we need something doing, how can they find out about you? Do you have a website, or are you on social media, or how can they get in touch?
Probably right now, the website's the best place with the most up-to-date projects we've done. So that's croglinltd.com.
Okay.
Limited spell, Croglin Ltd. Social media's working on.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Joe, and showing us these amazing projects that you've been working on. It's been absolutely fascinating to find out about another business on the business parks. I'm just going to turn my camera back around. There we go. That's amazing. So work for the Balmoral Estate and for the King done right here in Penrith on Gilwilly Industrial Estate. It's absolutely fascinating meeting all these different businesses that we have here on the Penrith Business Parks. So that's another one instalment for me today, and I'll be back in touch again soon.